I'm Steve Gersovich. I am a child and adolescent psychiatrist and president of Key Ministry, and I am here with my partner in crime.
I'm Harmony Hensley. I consult with Key Ministry, and I also am the pastor and director of Outreach and Inclusion at Vineyard Cincinnati in Southern Ohio.
We're really excited that Michael Chanley and the folks from CM Connect have asked Key Ministry to become a significant presence on the site. And one of the things that we're going to do to introduce ourselves to the children's ministry community is that one of the hot topics that's been bounced around here in recent weeks is the notion of a zero-tolerance policy in churches for kids who have significant issues with aggressive behavior. And our good friend Amy Fenton Lee has really run with the ball and has just championed the cause of church safety. And so, safety to us it's a paramount value, but at the same time, we know that there are kids who, because of different hidden disabilities, may on occasion exhibit some aggressive behavior, but otherwise, if we're going to be showing the love of Christ, to the kids and families that we serve, we need to be able to figure out a way to effectively include them.
Absolutely. And we've even had just some experiences in the ministry that I serve with at the Vineyard where we do a respite outreach to families who have children with special needs and their siblings, where the parents drop the children off for the evening and then go out for the night. And we've had several incidents that have occurred where we certainly had children who were with us for the evening who had some issues with aggression. And from the outside looking in, there might be some who say, oh, well, they just can't come back. We had a specific incident last year where we had a young man who was 13 years old, and he came with us for the evening. And unfortunately, once we got the backstory, because hindsight is always 20/20, that evening he came under the pretense his mom told him he would be volunteering. And so his expectations were that he was going to come and be able to be kind of in charge or be perceived as a leader, when in fact he was actually a guest at the event. So when he was paired up with a buddy, immediately we started to realize that there was some stuff going on with him. And as the evening escalated, he got more and more frustrated because his expectations for the night were not what actually happened. And by the time the entire night had really played its course, we ended up having, unfortunately, to call his mom because he had reached a level of aggression that was no longer safe for himself or the other guests or volunteers who were serving. So when we called the mom, the first thing we wanted to express to her was, hey, you know what, I'm so sorry to have to call you. We're really glad that we had your son with us tonight. It just turns out this isn't working out this time. And so we'd love to work with you in the future to make sure that we know ways to better engage him. But for now, it's not safe for him or for us for him to stay. And she was obviously very upset, very embarrassed, which made me sad, and said, I'm so sorry, I should have never brought him. And I said, let's be clear, that's not what we're communicating. What we're communicating is that we're sad that it didn't work out this evening, but we want to partner with you and your family going forward to find ways to engage your child. We ended up having to have him removed in restraints and taken to Children's Hospital and got the attention that he needed. And that is something that is very scary for people to see. But part of what was really great about that evening was that our volunteers were prepared. They were trained. We intentionally have Key Ministry come down at least quarterly to do targeted trainings for our folks around hidden disabilities, because a lot of the kids we serve have a hidden disability. And at the end of the night, part of what made me so proud as a believer and as a ministry leader were that there were over 100 people in the building that night. There were only 6 people directly involved with this particular incident, and the rest of the 94 other guests had no idea that anything had happened, because we were trained and we were prepared. And so even though we grieved that he didn't have a good time that night, we were really glad that we were able to be there for him the way that he needed to be supported, and we welcomed the family to come back again, because we realized that there were some things that we could have worked with Mom on in terms of communicating expectations and the way that we would have been able to maybe be more successful with him that evening. But the end of the story was that we still wanted to engage with him and his family. We certainly can't tolerate behavior that's going to be dangerous to him or anyone else, but there are ways for us to be smart as ministry leaders to reach out and build a bridge with families to figure out, maybe we can't connect with you in our building, maybe that environment didn't work, but is there a way we can come alongside you in your home and where you already have community? So certainly I think there's a lot for us to discuss.
Well, what we do at Key Ministry, more so than anything else, is that we get lots of requests from churches for help with exactly the kinds of situations that you described. A child who may periodically exhibit, some significant aggressive behavior. So for our inaugural video blog here on CM Connect, what we want to do is we want to share what we know with churches everywhere and with church leaders to help them to more successfully welcome, serve, and include families who may have kids who periodically exhibit aggressive behavior. We'll talk a little bit about what some of the things you can do as a leader are in terms of your ministry environments. training your staff in particular around transition times or points during your church day where kids may be more at risk of exhibiting some of these behaviors. Talk a little bit about some pointers that you can share with your key volunteers. And also share a little bit about how to communicate with parents if a child has had a difficulty or has had a problem, like when they're in Sunday school or in your children's ministry programming, so as to be able to, leave the parents feeling encouraged, welcome, reaffirming your staff, and allowing your children's ministry experience to be successful for everyone overall.